there's nobody who'll make you run through a wall like TJ.
TJ Watt has juice.
TJ Watt is the epitome of juice. Having the green dot, you're essentially the quarterback. And they can't hear you, but you can only hear them. Sometimes the guy, sometimes they hold their finger too long, so they'll be having a full-ass conversation in your ear, and you're like, yo, take your finger off the button. If I make a call and somebody doesn't hear it, or maybe they're just so locked in that they just, my bad, I didn't hear you. It's your fault. Everyone else does the right thing, but that one guy doesn't. It's your fault because you didn't get in the call. They play Green Bay, another linebacker's here. Huh. I'm sitting at the bar with one of my really good buddies, and he looks at me, he goes, hey, just put that drink down, you're up.
All right. Welcome back to Bring the Juice. Finishing up our East Coast tour today with my co-host, Mykal Walker. Mike, good as always. Great, successful trip, I'd say.
Yeah, man, it's been good, man. I love having you out here, man. I appreciate the support, always.
Obviously, I was there your draft day, went to Atlanta, started off hot, built your way up. Talk about Atlanta and then how you got out of Atlanta, and then we'll lead into your year last year and how you ultimately ended up on the Commanders.
Started off hot, obviously, like you said, going to Atlanta Falcons, drafted, everything was big. When you're drafted, you're like the favorite guy there. Everyone loves you. You're like the draft pick. They automatically assume you're like the best thing on the team, whatever. Had some great vets. Deion Jones, Foye Oluokun, those are my guys right there still to this day.
Right.
But just I watched them, I grew, I got to play, I got the opportunity to become a starter in 2022. Just started every game, played and stuff like that. And obviously I put up bigger numbers than I ever had in my career, but people know sometimes it's not about just the stats. Have a shit ton of tackles, but are those tackles good tackles, or are those the guy got 7 yards and then you tackle him down the field?
Right.
So, obviously didn't play well enough to secure a bag and get a big contract. So inevitably they drafted a guy behind me. That's shout out my rookie Troy Anderson, and my boy Nate. The hell of a player right now, doing a great job in Atlanta. But they drafted them, and then they kind of took over. So when they took over, got released from Atlanta, got claimed to Chicago, went to the Chicago Bears for a cup of coffee.
When did you get released from Atlanta?
Right after the first preseason game in 2023.
Right, so it's not a comfortable time of year to get released.
Yeah, I will say I think I do have to give props to Atlanta. You never know what goes behind closed doors, but but they released me after the first game. So basically, I had 2 weeks to try to stick, to the team who claimed me, Chicago Bears. So I'm always going to look in the mirror internally. Obviously, I didn't do enough to stick on the Chicago Bears, but yeah, I was there for 2 preseason games, got released from there, and then ultimately ended up signing a practice squad contract with the Raiders.
That's a fast transition going from Atlanta to Chicago Bears. I remember Kim and your family picking up, going to Chicago for a couple days, and then it's hey, back on the road. And I think, yes, if you're just reading it, it's oh, he went from Atlanta to Chicago to Vegas. Those are geographically far apart. It's logistically hard to move your family 3 big ass cities difference over a short period of time.
Yeah, just not knowing, just kind of being naive about how this business works and how this game works. When I got claimed to Chicago, I thought, oh, I'm on the team. They just claimed me hey guys, we're gonna be here.
They claimed you fast, too.
The next day, it was less than 24 hours I was claimed. So I'm I'm gonna be here. I go to the Bears and first preseason game, I led the team tackles first preseason game. So I'm I'm here.
Right.
And then I get cut the next week. So it's that the business side of things, and for every reason, you never know. Obviously I didn't do enough in the game, but just not knowing how this business worked at the time, it was tough because I moved the whole family to Chicago, and then to tell them, hey, it's been 7 days. Oh, we gotta go back home. I got cut again.
Right.
That's uncomfortable to have the conversation.
How far was that gap between Chicago and Las Vegas?
2, 3 weeks. Okay, so you get after the last preseason game, they do the cuts. It's a bye week. No one plays the next week.
There's a blank week. Yeah.
So in that blank week, I got a call to go to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh calls me up to do a workout. So I do a workout with Pittsburgh. Shout out my coach Aaron Curry. We'll get there, but Aaron Curry works me out. And he's yo, sign him. He got it. Sign him. So I'm oh, bet. Okay, I'm texting my twin brother. I'm texting Kim. I'm I'm about to get signed to the Steelers. Oh, that's great. Get showered. I go upstairs. They're hey, we loved everything about you. Obviously, the coach vouched for you to be on the team, but right now we just don't have any spots.
Wow.
I'm well, what do you mean? coach just said to sign me. Like, what do you mean you don't have any spots? And that be like I said, like being naive, like not knowing how the business works. Like it's not about that. It's like, yeah, they could love you, but like they don't have any spots because I was cut right after the final cuts. So the rosters have just been made. So in order to add me to the team, you have to cut somebody that you just said made the team 2-3 days ago.
Right.
Which a lot of teams aren't going to do that. So basically, they put you on a list that's like, hey, anything happens, you're coming in. But, you know.
Yeah, but meanwhile, you're just sitting here on the couch being like, oh, that's great, but what's that mean to me?
Exactly.
That's one man's word. That doesn't mean shit.
So I'm frustrated right now. You know, I'm kind of pissed off and frustrated. I'm like, yo, like you just told me. I'm thinking like the line to me at this point in time, like, you know, I didn't think I was going to get cut from Atlanta.
Right.
I didn't think I was going to get cut from Chicago Bears. They just told me to sign me. They don't sign me. At this point, I think, you know, everyone's screwing me. Why me? Like, I'm kind of like, yo, why is the world against me at this point? Not knowing this is just how the business works.
Yeah.
So I get on a plane to fly back home. On the plane, I get a missed call because I'm in the air. I land, hey, it's the Cleveland Browns. We want to bring you out for a workout. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Where am I going? 2 days later, I fly to Cleveland. I do a workout with Cleveland. Assistant GM's there, the linebacker coach, DB coach, defensive coordinator. Everyone's sitting there watching me do this workout. They're like, hey, like this kid, like, he's good. He got it. Let's get him up. I'm like, okay, cool. Text Kim. Text my twin brother. Hey guys, it looks like I'm going to Cleveland. Get showered, go upstairs. Hey, really like you, but we're gonna take you to the hospital to get your physical and do all this stuff done to make you check out. I'm like, oh, like, I'm going to the hospital right now. Like I'm definitely getting signed. Come back. Hey, yeah, right now it's the first week. You know, we're gonna play the first week. We're thinking about signing you next week. Just be ready to come in on Monday. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna miss week 1, but I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna watch the game in the movie theater room. I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna have a job on Monday. It's the first game of the season. Offensive lineman goes down. Call my agent. Hey man, like, yeah, we really like Mike, but like, you know, we gotta address this. We can't sign him. I'm like, there's no way.
Just because an O lineman goes down, now me as a linebacker that you like can't make this 53-man.
And at this point, once again, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that I get released from Atlanta on my contract. There's no way that the Chicago Bears claim me and release me after I led the team tackles the first game. There's no way that the Steelers didn't sign me. So at this point, it's like, yo, like this football shit might be over. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And shit, so I go back home. I want to say maybe 2 days went by, and like another call. Hey, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, we want you to come in for a workout. Week 1 goes by. Now this is the week of week 2. So I go to the Las Vegas Raiders, and I do my workout with them. So in my mind, as you could think, I'm like, okay, well, like, I'm going to do this workout, and then I'm going to go home. Like, I know what it is. I don't pack anything. I have a backpack, nothing else. Do my workout with the Raiders. They go, hey, Mike, we're going to sign you. I'm like, oh, shit.
There we go.
Like, I got nothing but a backpack. I go, shit, okay, cool. Like, so what's next? Like, we got practice tomorrow. Oh, okay. So you got 10 days in the hotel, and then, you know, you figure out your living situation after that. So that was cool. Just like a kind of relief. So for answer your question at the beginning, I was out for 2 weeks of the regular season. I got signed the 3rd week of the season.
In those weeks, you mentioned it a little bit, but was there a point, and I know how hard it must be. Like I said, last year you were starting linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, and then you're sitting on your couch watching NFL football on Sundays instead of being out there. Like,
yeah.
Was there a internal moment where you're like, this shit really might be over?
If I gotta be real honest with you,
yeah,
I never had a thought that like it's over for me. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously you hear the people outside of it, but like to me it was just like I know I could play, I know I could ball. I put it on tape last year. You know, obviously this team didn't want me, someone's going to, there's 32 teams. There's no way I can't be on 32 teams. So, like, I just never thought, like, I couldn't go. The hardest thing for me was having to see, like, Kim and Caden are like, okay, like, you know, I don't know what's next for you guys. And then they start thinking things. You know, it's tough when your loved ones start thinking, like, oh, like, is it over for him?
Right.
You know, because in my head, I've been doing this since I was, like, 6, 7 years old.
Right.
So, to me, it's like, okay, that door closed. I'll just go to the next team. Like, I know I can play. But when your close people start kind of like, oh, well, I don't know. The life expectancy for NFL is 3 years. You know, you're in year 5 now. Like, so, you know, what's going on? That was kind of tough.
Your time in Vegas leading into Pittsburgh, how did that go down?
Yeah, I will say it was real tough for me because when I was in Vegas, I didn't get like one defensive rep, and in that room, so they got some good players over there. I would say, like, shout out my boy Spill. Really good players, but, like, they didn't give me one defensive rep. And then, like, the guys in the room, besides maybe Spill, like, I had more game experience, more plays, more stats than everybody in the room. And I'm wearing the little caps. I'm running the little cats, running the running back routes for these guys to get ready to play. And I'm like, yo, like I just beat this team last year. And I'm not getting any like a practice squad. Like not even they're like your best case scenario was like special teams. And at the time, like I'm starting linebacker on special teams. You know, so I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about?
Right.
And it was a crazy situation though because we're from California. We're living in Vegas. It's so nice. And for people who don't understand, like Vegas is not just casinos and clubs and shit like that. Vegas is one of the nicest family places to go. Like they have so much shit for kids and family and stuff like that. So Kim's loving it. Caden, he's starting to do more things, starting to get more active. He's good. We have people out there. Like it's a good situation for us. One night I'm looking at Kim. I'm like, hey babe, I ain't gonna lie. Like I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Like I can't play here. Like my career is gonna die if I stay in Vegas. Like I have to get out of here. And I mean, shit. I don't know if maybe they just heard my conversation or what, but they called me up. I get released from the Raiders. I'm like, all right, I'm going home. I'm going back to Sacramento. I guess we're gonna do this again. Literally a day later, I get a call. My agent's like, hey, Pittsburgh says they're gonna sign you. You don't gonna do no more workout. They're signing you to the team.
Wow. You show up in Pittsburgh. What was the expectation?
I'm here. My agent is talking to me, and he's like, "Yo, Pittsburgh is like a real family organization. Like, you could stick here. Like I know you've been through some shit this year, but like, do what you're supposed to do. Grind. This could be a situation for you to stick for the rest of the year." I'm like, "All right, I'm cool." I come in on we were playing. I'll never forget. We're playing Thursday Night Football. I came in Monday. It's crazy. They gave us like Monday or Tuesday off. Wednesday was like hats practice, and then like right before the game, it was like a fast Friday. We played the game on Thursday, so I'm on practice squad at this point. We play Thursday Night Football. Somebody gets hurt. I'm like, oh okay. So now we're playing next week. We're playing Green Bay. This is my full first week there. And like, hey, like Mike, like I'm getting reps. Like, hey, like getting reps in, whatever. This might be your time to go. And I'm looking at special teams, but I'm getting reps on defense. I remember it was like a Thursday or Friday, and they like made the announcement that they're gonna elevate the other linebacker, not me. I'm like, man, what the fuck? I'm kind of pissed off because I'm like, man, I've been making plays. Like, I'm getting reps. Like, why am I not? Like, what's going on? And one of the coaches coming to me and like, hey, like, don't worry, like, we got a plan for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. So they play Green Bay. So this is like day 8, day 9.
Right.
They play Green Bay. Another linebacker's hurt.
Huh.
I'm sitting at the bar with one of my really good buddies, and he looks at me. He goes, hey, put that drink down. You're up. And this is Sunday. I get a phone call Monday night. My linebacker coach is like, hey, how do you feel about like the playbook? I'm like, man, I think I got it pretty down, like whatever. He's like, all right, good, you're starting tomorrow. Hung up the phone.
Starting tomorrow.
So, like, we go to practice, you're starting tomorrow. This is Tuesday, our Tuesday day off. Calls me at nighttime. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Calls me. Fuck, this coach calling me. You feel the playbook? I feel pretty good. Hey, practice tomorrow, Wednesday, you're starting.
Starting linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers just like that.
And my third week there, or 2.5, however you want to count it, end up starting. Next game against the first game against Cleveland Browns.
What week was that?
I want to say maybe week 9, week 10.
Wow.
Cleveland Browns. I played Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati back to back. Played every snap on defense.
To think that season of like it's preseason, you're going in after a good year in Atlanta. Things in Atlanta don't work out. Sitting on the couch to go from the Bears, like you said, for a cup of coffee. You went to the Browns though for a sec.
Yeah, a little workout. Yeah,
Workout for the Steelers. Didn't go to the Steelers, even though it felt optimistic. In the Raiders, had this gut feeling where it's like my career might die here. Released, picked up by the Steelers, and then, like you said, it's not like I got picked up and like, yeah, I finished the year out, or yeah, they activated me and I got to play a little bit of kickoff. Like, no, you're starting linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers all of a sudden. It's crazy. That's a hell of a roller coaster.
Insane. I mean, just the culture in Pittsburgh. I mean, I got my first playoff game. Like, imagine, like,
right.
Been in Atlanta for 3 years, can't smell the playoffs. I go to Pittsburgh for 1 year, and I get make the first playoff. Started my first playoff game.
How different was it? I understand it's one thing to understand your responsibilities as like an L2 on a kickoff team and stuff like that. It's a different responsibility to play the whole game as a middle linebacker in the NFL. Was there any, hey, I wish I was in the system longer because I'm not overly confident in my playbook, like in your gut?
Oh man, 100%. Like, and then you have like self-doubt started creeping up, where it was like, man, I've been cut. Maybe this is why, you missed a tackle. Damn, maybe that's why I got cut from Atlanta. Maybe that's why I have not making it back.
You start overthinking shit.
No, yeah, you just start. And I'll never forget, one of the plays we were playing against Cleveland Browns, my first game, they made a call that I had never heard of. Like, they're literally telling me to play, hey, Mike, do this. Hey, they're telling the guy, the other linebacker next to me, hey, tell Mike he has this on this play. Because I'd never heard of this call.
In the middle of
the game, like in the red zone. Like, I'm down there standing in the end zone, and they're like, yo, like, you have this.
Wow.
So, yeah, so it's It was a situation where, damn, you kind of feel like, damn, well, how could I be getting blamed, if something was wrong? Like, why would I be getting blamed if I just got here, whatever?
Right.
But, like, 2 weeks ago, man, I was praying to have this opportunity.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to be mad or whatever or feel some type of way about, maybe I didn't have as much opportunity because I haven't been here since camp.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know the playbook at the back of my hand because I haven't been here for all these weeks. But, shit, like, your alternative was at home.
Right.
So, I think when a blessing comes, man, you got to just run with it.
You got to roll with the punches on that.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you got the green dot.
Yeah.
When they said you got the green dot, and it's like, I'm calling the plays now for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. If people don't know, the green dot means basically you have the communication in your helmet.
Yeah.
What was that kind of responsibility vibe, especially with the legends they have on that defense? Pittsburgh is known for having a gritty ass defense.
Man, so I'll never forget my first day in there because I wore the green dot in Atlanta. So, like, I'm, like, fairly confident in doing it. My first day in Pittsburgh, I got the green dot and TJ Watt's looking at me, Alex Hinesmith, Cam Hayward, Meek is all looking at me. And I'm, like, saying the call, and I guess I'm, like, talking too fast. So TJ comes over to me and he's like, hey, Mike, like, just slow down, and, like, breathe, like, calm down a little bit.
Right.
And that's when I was, like, kind of just snapped. Okay,
yeah,
I'm good here. Because, sometimes, like, certain people, like, I'm the new guy on the block.
Right.
You got to think, like, damn, they want to hear me.
They don't want to hear it from you.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't want to hear it from you.
They're like, why the hell is this telling me to play?
Right.
And when he told me that, when someone like TJ, like, hey, we're with you. You're good. Like, just calm down. That's when I was like, okay, Pat. Like, that was cool as hell.
I heard TJ has some pretty fired up pregame speeches.
Hey, man. You got to be there's nobody who will make you run through a wall like TJ. Man.
TJ Watt has juice.
TJ Watt is the epitome of juice, man, on game day.
Really?
Man, you got to see, man, I'm blanking on the name, but the song when they put this song on, when they put Renegade on, just go look for TJ Watt. The stadium knows, like, go find 90.
What's he doing?
I can't even, you're going to have to clip him, find him. He loses his mind, man. Like, it's like, and every time this song comes on, he makes a play, bro. It's insane. You just know, like, TJ's about to make a play right here.
Damn.
It's the truth, man. And it's just like, have him on Instagram. So, like, he'll comment on some things. Like, I'll comment on something with him. And it's really cool when you have certain guys like that who, like,
yeah,
like, it's cool.
Would you rather get signals from the sideline versus the green dot, or
I think
it's another added element of pressure for sure, right?
Yeah. Well, having the green dot, you're essentially the quarterback, right? So, like, I think it feels great. It feels great. You know what I'm saying? It feels great when things are going good.
Yeah.
But it's also the worst thing ever when things aren't going good. Okay, let me give you an example. If I make a call and somebody doesn't hear it, or maybe they're just so locked in that they just, my bad, I didn't hear it. It's your fault.
Yeah.
If everybody does, all 10, like, everyone else does the right thing, but that one guy doesn't, it's your fault because you didn't get in the call. Yeah. So having the green dot, like, there's a lot of pressure and responsibility to get everybody lined up because that corner who just ran 70 yards down the field to cover that streak, the guy wasn't getting the ball. He just there to run him off.
Yeah, P-fake.
Well, when he's coming back and the offense is already on the ball and you're trying to get him the call and they're cycling the ball, like, if you don't get him the call, it's your fault. So having that green dot is like, it's pressure. It's loud. When the crowd is pumped up, and on defense, we want the crowd loud.
Absolutely.
So, like, you're, like, telling the crowd to be loud, but then you're like, oh, shit, like, fuck his coach talking. And, like, some coaches, some of them, and they're human too. Like, sometimes the call comes in late. Sometimes the mic will go out. Like, there's a lot of shit, a lot of adversity that comes through.
When does the mic go out at the green dot?
If the mic does go out, we'll do hand signals.
Yeah. But it goes out because, does it shut off at a certain point?
Well, yeah. So I think it's like 15
seconds.
But I mean, we're not like offensive players. So the defense coordinator will just, like, give you the call and then stop talking to you. But for people who don't know, the green dot is a one-way streak, like communication. So the coaches can talk to you, but you can't talk to them. Yeah. So they can't hear you, but you can only hear them. Sometimes the guy, like, when I'm telling you, like, play calling, it's almost like a skill. Like, sometimes they hold their finger too long, so they'll be having a full-ass conversation in your ear, and you're like, yo, like, take your finger off the button. So, but they can't hear you. So it's a crazy game. And then the mic goes out and you're getting hand signals. Sometimes the guys on the field don't know the hand signals. So
communication, man.
Yeah.
In football, communications through the roof. You ultimately got your first playoff game appearance off that. How was it going in? Like, all right, we're in the offs, baby.
Man, it was crazy, man. Just this is the journey that I was on, the roller coaster ride, ups and downs, and moving around the teams. Like, being able to finally make the playoffs was insane.
Season ends. You don't know what's going to happen necessarily. You end up on the Commanders. How'd you end up on the Commanders?
after every year you do exit meetings. So I go in there with Mike T, and he's like, "Yo, like, we really appreciate what you came in here on a short schedule."
Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Coach Mike Tomlin. He's like, "We really appreciate you. You came in here on a short leash. Like, obviously, if you come back, like, he said, I'd love to do business with you. If you do come back, we expect you to play better. But like, we would love to do business with you in the future." So I'm like, okay, cool. Like
That's fair.
That's fair. Obviously, like I didn't have the best season I had. It was cool that he acknowledged that and he said that he appreciated the work that I put in because I was out there. I was playing with not really getting a lot of time. And I was in the off season. The agent was just like, yeah, we're hearing from this team, this team, and then he's like, yo, Dan Quinn, he just called. I'm gonna call you right back. I'm like, I'm in Tampa. I'm on vacation, just kind of hanging out. And he's like, yeah, like the Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn, they're interested.
Which Dan Quinn is the coach who drafted you for the Atlanta Falcons.
Exactly. So when that happened, I'm like, oh, done deal. Like it doesn't matter who else calls. Like coach. Like in this game, relationships is everything.
Right.
So I might have had a better opportunity than what I'm doing now with the Washington Commanders if I went to another team. Having Dan Quinn, the guy who drafted me and gave me the opportunity to play in the National Football League in the first place, like it's a no-brainer. Like I'm going to go play for him.
How is Dan Quinn as a coach?
Man, he's a juice guy too. We might need to get his ass on the pod.
It can happen. We'll fucking
big juice guy. Dan Quinn is a great guy, man. He's the ultimate players coach. Takes care of us. Just a dude you want to play for, man. Dude you want to win for.
How is there a difference in Dan Quinn coach Atlanta Falcons and Dan Quinn coach Washington Commanders?
No. And that's the crazy part. I really don't think so, man. Like he's been that same guy who you wanted to play for, who you want to win for, who you want to, do everything, be better for. From when I was in Atlanta Falcons as a rookie till year 5 with the Washington Commanders. Like he's the same guy.
We mentioned the art of communication on defense. So I'm trying to get Connor Stallions on the pod. But so essentially last year when Michigan was hot, right? There was like a lawsuit. There was a bunch of social media hoopla where Michigan was stealing signals.
Oh, yeah, I did
from opposing teams. This guy, Connor Stallions, I'm going to sum it up. So he was a fan of Michigan growing up. Grew up around there. Studied like great coaches. And his goal was he wanted to be the coach of Michigan. He ended up going to the Naval Academy and wanting to work in football. We got his way up the ladder to the point where he did a bunch of little jobs, but he's very military mindseted and he has clearly a unique brain. But ultimately, he's extremely detailed when it comes to a task he's given. So like he was given the responsibility of, hey, give us a wind report on kickoffs. And he did like 10 years of research and said what the wind status was on every game they played prior to the stadium they're going.
Damn.
Shit's intense.
Yeah.
Long story short, it led to him getting into the Michigan room. And what he essentially did was try to decipher what the other team's signals were and what was going to happen. So he would pick up on their signals, say, hey, when a guy does, this, a backer drops, or he actually looked at their offensive signals. So when they wedge right here, the backsided wide receiver runs a slant or whatever it might be. It really came down to like pass versus run.
Yeah.
He got it to the point where he knew the other team's signals pretty well. And I don't know who someone was a whistleblower that basically said, hey, this guy's stealing signals. Crazy. What's your take on people picking up on other team signals? I think it's part of the game, personally.
Yeah, I think it's the ultimate strat. Like, that's what we do in the National Football League. That's what we do. We watch the TV copy. Like, when we watch film, for people to understand, like, it's not enjoyable. Like, there's no sound. It's just
no, there's no sound.
3 different angles of the game, and you watch clips play after play after play with no sound, no enthusiasm. Well, we have a guy who watches the TV copy to pick up on quarterback signals, quarterback sounds, anything you could pick up off TV, off audio.
Yeah.
So that's the way the game is played. I think if you have a guy who does that, hide the shit better. I don't know what to tell you.
I agree.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I very much agree.
Yeah, I think it's dope.
I watched the entire thing. He went on Bussin' with the Boys, boy Will Compton. And they interviewed him, and he kind of told his whole story. And they have a Netflix documentary, and he has like a manifesto, bro, about like everything. And he claims that every single college football program, or like 90% of college football, has a guy on their staff that is looking at the other team's plays,
Yeah.
trying to figure shit out. Now, his skill was he could do it during the game and figure out, like, he'd be up in the booth, or actually he'd be behind Harbaugh, and he'd see the other team's signals and be like, okay, it's a run. And, like, you could watch the documentary, you'll see it better than I'm explaining it. But, like, the whole defense will signal something, and they'll stuff the running game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ask Mikey about this.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So I mean, I'd love to, talk to that dude, but like, I think people complain like, oh, they're stealing signals, they cheated. I think it's. I think if you are mad that the other team is picking up on your signals, have a better way of hiding your signals.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like
No.
we as players find certain players on the field to give us run pass keys anyway. So what's the difference of a coach doing it?
It's a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
I guess too. Now there's one scandal though. I guess he was on another team's sideline at one point,
Okay. Well, now we're okay. Well,
crossing a line.
yeah, now we're crossing the line.
I agree.
Yeah. Now we're talking about cheating.
That's a line.
Yeah.
What about you? You're about to have your second kid. Okay. Congratulations, by the way.
Appreciate that.
Going from dad of one to dad of two, what's your mindset going into it?
Shoot. Well, now that I've had the first one already, I understand the toll that it takes on the mother. So my whole thought process now is like, okay, I have to be with Caden, my older son, like way more. Like it's gonna be Caden and Mike. You know what I'm saying? Caden and Dad. That's what it's gonna be because I understand the toll that it takes on the moms now. Which I didn't understand before. So shout out Cam.
Yeah.
They're like superheroes.
Moms are a whole different appreciation.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you just had your son,
I
so let's tell the people how's it being a father for a couple of.
No, it's crazy. I mean, like your life changes in a matter of seconds as soon as he comes out. You're chilling in the hospital as a married couple, party of two, and it's quiet. Your wife just has a big old gut, and then all of a sudden, they come out, party of three.
Yeah.
That's all it is, and like they're so little, they're so delicate. They don't even look human out of the gate.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? And but man, I mean, easily my favorite title is being a dad so far. And just the getting to talk to other dads about, wanting to raise kids to be great is awesome. And obviously, like, I think it's cool, even though Caden's a little bit older than Bo, like they'll know each other growing up for a long period of time. That's cool that our kids have the opportunities to, come over and shoot the shit during holidays or when you're in town or shit. If this Bring the Juice golf tournament keeps going for the next however many years I want it to go, like they very well might play in the tournament with you, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
just having those opportunities, expectations, things of that nature, and like you worry about so many little things as a guy, as a man growing up. I remember in high school, like all you cared about if it was football season was your game that night.
Yeah.
But in the off season, it's like, how am I going to get recruited, right?
Mhm.
And if it's finals time of year, you're worried about that test. Like, hey man, I need to get a 72% to pull this B out. Like,
Yeah.
you're worried about the stupidest shit in the grand scheme of things,
Mhm.
and all you want is like to be healthy. You want everyone to be healthy. Like, I think we take our health for granted so much.
Yeah, I think so too.
So much. And I remember, and like you really feel it as an athlete, once you're not, it takes you having to get hurt to appreciate how when you're sick, right? You're like, bro, I'd give anything right now just to be able to feel good, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Like we take our health for granted, and we have my family's blessed where we don't have these major health issues right now, but there's a lot of people out there that deal with that shit. And like, I think if you have the ability to walk and breathe and think and write your name and read and all that shit, like, don't take that for granted because not everybody can do that necessarily. And you got one life. Try to make it as best as you possibly can. But that's a very loaded task. It's not like you can't just say it and it happens. Like, it's repetition of being an example every single day. And I know you want to set your kids up for success as best way they can. And even me, like, I know I have a great mom and dad who want to see us succeed. They want to put us in situations to succeed. But I think in our era, it's like, how do you make it to where we're hungry people?
Yeah.
We're hungry people. Like, everyone finds their hunger. We interviewed guys in this trip right here in this Airbnb from the Washington Commanders about, hungry. And I think some of those guys, if you haven't listened to those episodes yet, like they have some really awesome examples of how they regained their hunger when they got complacent in things.
Yeah.
So, a challenge that I see in our generation with like iPads and phones and all that is I don't want my kid to be on their phone constantly or their tablet constantly. Like
Right.
I want them to be able to, go outside and play and learn how to hunt and fish and farm and play sports and be outside till it gets dark shooting hoops, bro. Like me and my brothers, none of us played basketball at a high level. We used to freaking be outside until it got dark constantly, playing horse,
Yeah.
one on one, trick shots. Like, fuck it. Maybe you're just out there by you. I'm sure you used to go outside. You could shoot hoops by yourself for hours, bro.
Yeah.
Like that
Lose-
is that a?
lose
I
track
feel like
of time.
I feel like that's a lost. That's like a lost thing. Like it is good, and it doesn't have to be the newest basketball hoop in the world. It could be down the street at the park. Nobody gives a.
Yeah. We just talked about we're high level competitor,
Yeah.
people, men.
Yeah.
I think people don't understand sometimes of like what it's like when your son can't
Yeah.
play basketball, shoot hoops, fish. Like when he just doesn't move. Like your son right now, he probably can't hold himself up yet.
Yeah.
So,
No,
like
he'll be laid on my chest, flip his head up. I'll be like, look at that neck, man. Like strong neck. And you're just, they're so delicate. They're a piece of clay that you're trying to
yeah.
form into something that's great. And like honestly, I've talked about trying to find balance too of, I still have my life. I still want me and my wife to have
Yeah.
our life. But at the end of the day, like their life is the most important at this point, like
Yeah.
over anything. And sacrificing that. But I think that comes with finding the right person you want to spend your life with that can understand your workload, your social side, and things. And because you don't want to just go through the motions. Like, dude, I'm 27. I think back 10 years ago, I was 17. How different my life was when I was 17 versus 27, and I
Yeah.
love it. But at the end of the day, like all I want is to see my family succeed. I want to see my son grow up and be strong and like I said, I don't care if he plays football. I don't care if he doesn't do this, that, and the other. I just know I've had it, stitched into my brain that I'm gonna be the best version of myself I could possibly be in every way, shape, and form. So I'm gonna do that. Um, but I mean, bro, it's just hard. It's just like really hard to find that balance. But I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah, man. I think you and Brittany are doing a great job. I know you guys are gonna be wonderful parents.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see, when my next kid comes out, they're gonna be real close in age.
Yeah.
Like I said, and it'll be golfing against each other. Looking forward to see them playing basketball, shooting hoops against each other out in the park someday.
Well, speaking about golfing, how's your golf game these days?
I haven't played in a while now, but I'm gonna get it right before the golf tournament.
You gotta get into pickleball too, bro.
I really do. I only played that one time. We came out there, and I loved it. And I just can't find anyone to play pickleball with.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Mike, this has been great, brother. I appreciate this trip. Love you as always. Get your piss hot. Stay fired up. We'll see you soon.
Much love, my guy. See you soon.